Hello there, and welcome to episode 29 of Colonization Project. Right now we return to Sunset Star, which has collected quite a bit of science in its 1 year since its departure from Kerbin. It's been less than over 1 year since we transmitted the last batch of science back, because science labs actually have a limit as to how much science they can hold. They can only hold about 500 science before you need to transmit it back. Yeah, we're landing on Gilly. I should probably talk about that. We're taking the Gilly lander down to the surface of Gilly. This thing definitely can't land in return from Eve. Don't even think it can land because it doesn't have a heat shield. So, we're just sending, I believe this is the pilot of Sunset Star, down to the surface. This is a scientist, because the blue suit. The blue suits mean scientists. So we're sending Tomo Kerman down to the surface of Gilly, and we are going to do a grand tour of Gilly. We're hopping to every biome because we have a large amount of fuel, and Gilly is a space potato. We probably have enough Delta V to hop to every biome more than once, but why would we do that unless we have like flag planting contracts or something? But we are collecting science from the Midlands right now, and after we do that, we can get back into the lander, try and find the next biome, which is rather hard because it's quite difficult to find out which biomes are the highlands and lowlands, because the surface of Gilly actually curves underneath the mountains, so it's quite hard to find out like where the high points on Gilly are and where the low points on Gilly are. You can sort of tell where they are, but it's a bit more difficult than, say, Minmus, because Minmus, of course, you can tell the highlands from the flats and stuff like that. But now we're heading, I believe the next location is the lowlands. I could be very wrong, but another objective of this biome hop is to investigate this anomaly that we found on the surface. Because I thought we might as well visit it. There's really no point in not. You can see we just about scraped the engine on the surface of Gilly. Hopefully that won't cause any problems to our complex nuclear engine. But yeah, we are landing on the surface of Gilly, right next to this neat little monolith. And as it appears, it is a green monolith. It is, at least I think that's what it is. I recorded this quite a while ago, so I can't be entirely sure what color it is. But anyways, we are landing right next to it. And as it appears, you may have just saw it, we actually unlocked fusion propulsion, because I didn't realize this before, but Monoliths actually give you a tech node free of science. I did not know they did this, and we just unlocked the power of the star, power of a star from this little monolith. In case you're wondering, I'm not going to incorporate this monolith into the story of Colonization Project. It will have a story. It just won't involve the monoliths or any other of the Easter eggs across the solar system. I do have quite a bit more exciting story planned for Colonization Project. It will have a story, or else how would I end it, you know? It's kind of hard to end a series that doesn't have a story. Otherwise you just say, oh, the series just ended. That's not a very good ending. Anyways, we can now hop to the next biome. Oh wait, no, we hop to the highlands. So the next biome is going to be to the lowlands. Thankfully, we have this little Kerbal Engineer Redux thing. Apparently the lowlands are really high latitude. Is it latitude or longitude? I always get the two mixed up. Oh wait, I think I can. I don't know. Anyways, we are landing on Gilly. We can actually use the RCS thrusters to land. The RCS thrusters actually provide more than enough thrust to weight ratio in order to land on Gilly, but we don't actually use them that often. I just use them for like the final descent because, it provides a bit more control over the final landing. Anyways, we can plant another flag. Claim it for Kerbal Kind, I guess, although I don't think any of these worlds are already claimed. Yeah, let's just ignore the monolith. But I don't think any of these worlds are claimed because it's a space rock. It doesn't have an atmosphere. It doesn't really have anything of note. So, and doesn't appear that there's any other life in the solar system. But anyways, we are heading back up to Sunset Star. We've collected all the science we can. And, yeah, it's actually quite easy to get a rendezvous around Gilly. Like, I've performed so many rendezvous around, like, Minmus and other low-gravity worlds that when I go to perform a rendezvous on Kerbin, I'm just like, why are they 30 kilometers apart? They should be much closer. And then I'm like, Kerbin has a much larger radius. That's why. And so maneuvers are a lot more expensive. And Gilly and Minmus, they're quite easy bodies to get rendezvous around because, they have very low gravity, and you can perform course corrections quite easily and cheaply with them. On Kerbin, you have to get the ascent trajectory and maneuvers and launch angle quite precise in order to get a perfect rendezvous, unless you want to be expending lots of Delta V. Anyways, we are sending the Gilly lander on its merry way to a higher orbit, because we're not crashing it into the surface because it could prove useful in the future. But right now it's not doing much. We won't be carrying it back to Kerbin. But we might as well leave it as like a monument or something. I don't know. Anyways, you just saw we were unlocking like better fission reactors or something. Not fusion reactors, we unlocked fusion propulsion, but we don't have fusion reactors yet. How does that work? I don't know. Apparently we can use fusion for rocket propulsion, but we can't use it for energy. Not sure what the logic is there, but anyways, you just saw we were planting a flag on the surface because for some reason I always get the flag planting contracts after I land on the body. So we're just planting a flag just to get the extra money, and we have arrived at Laythe. The diamond Laythe lander has finally arrived, and Laythe is a really pretty planet, I can tell you that much. I know I said that Eve was probably my favorite planet, but I've yet to visit Laythe with Spectra installed, and Spectra makes it look absolutely fantastic. Just the cloud layers and just the tiny little details make so much of a difference. Like, you may not be able to see them right now, but you can maybe. Well, first off, you have those like really nice clouds. It looks like they're windswept clouds. I'm not sure how you would describe that, but you can probably tell from what I'm saying. And also, if you look close enough, you can actually see like airborne plankton or something, some bioluminescent plankton or something. They're like, yeah, we're descending through like a layer of it right now. It's such a really good addition. I really like that. You also saw that we ditched the nuclear engine right into the atmosphere of Laythe. Hopefully the local biosphere? Is that what you would call it? The local ecology, I hope it won't mind, is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, we are descending to the surface of Laythe. We're on this rather pretty looking shore. Unfortunately, we don't get a great view of Laythe. I would have liked to land it at the land it at the poles, but I'm not sure why I didn't do that. I really don't know why I didn't land at the poles. But as it turns out, I forgot to test the solar panels on this thing, so we actually just end up destroying the solar panels because they were causing too many issues. Hopefully that won't be too much of a problem. I mean, we do have a couple of static solar panels in an RTG. And I don't think solar panels do much this far away from the sun. But I am going to, after we transmit the science, we can unlock cutting edge solar technology, which gives us huge solar rays and stuff. But now we return to Jewel once again to catch up with I think this is the Treasure Jewel Orbiter, and it has performed its gravity assist around Tylo. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to send it to Tylo first, which is probably a mistake because Tylo takes absolutely thousands of kilometers per second in order to do anything around. So maybe I should have sent it to another place first, but oh well, poor decisions are poor decisions, and that was a poor decision. Hopefully we'll have enough fuel to go to at least another planet. But we can also unlock specialized fuel storage. Yes, we're unlocking tons of tech nodes in this episode. But now we are launching a Leviathan. It is carrying a new Minmus miner up to Minmus. I mean, they're called Factorio miners now, but I kind of forgot that. We're launching it once again off the ocean because, you know, that's what the Leviathan does. It would be kind of weird to launch it from the land because we've seen it rise so many times out of the sea that seeing it out of the land would be rather strange and mildly cursed, in my opinion. I like launching it from the sea because, you know, the Sea Dragon is cool. In case you haven't noticed, the rocket is a weird combination of Saturn V parts, the Sea Dragon, and uses solid rocket boosters. So, yeah, it's much like the Titan. I explained this a while ago. Yeah, I have a lot of like weird combinations of separate rockets because the Titan is a mix of Saturn V parts. It uses solid rocket boosters, and it uses these Methalox engines that look like RS-25s. So we sort of have like two mixed up cursed rockets in this series. There will certainly be more to come. Although I'm not sure if we'll ever need a bigger launch vehicle, because I think once we do get to the point where we're going to need huge payloads into orbit, we're just going to be constructing stuff on Minmus anyway. You can also see here that I added a new landing zone with curval constructs. Unfortunately, I'm still I'm not going to say I'm very bad at targeted landings because I think it's just the Leviathan boosters that I'm bad with targeted landings at, because the booster is like just so cumbersome that also we forgot the grid fence, so that's probably playing a factor. I'm very bad at doing targeted landings with the Leviathan, but then again, we can always land it in the sea if needs be, because, you know, it comes from the sea, it shall return to the sea, it shall return from the place it came from, because, like, the real reason why rockets don't land in the sea is because salt corrosion. Salt is a very bad thing to your delicate combustion chambers and turbo pumps. You don't want to be getting that stuff in your rocket engines. So they landed on drone ships or back at land, or they catch it with a helicopter, or they just let it fall into the ocean because that's what they did with the shuttle, or they land it back on the runway. Lots of creative solutions, but why not just make your rocket salt corrosion resistant in the first place? Although that's probably a really hard thing to do, but then again, the Sea Dragon was designed to be simple. I believe the Sea Dragon actually was supposed to use pressure-fed engines. They're not the most efficient option by any means, but they're very simple. All you need to do is have high pressure and then release a valve. Of course, it's more complicated than that, but you get the idea. You may be wondering what this Minmus miner is actually mining. So in order to create a self-sufficient colony, we need life support. That's our main focus right now because we can't really produce material kits on site. We don't have the necessary technos to do that. So we're just focusing on supplies for now, and one of those resources that we need is dirt. Apparently the Kerbals can't mine it from the ground themselves. They need this giant, way too expensive machine in order to mine it for them, although it does make quite a bit of sense because they're going to be needing quite a large amount of dirt. And also I'm not sure how you get dirt on a Minmus. I mean, I'm assuming it just like... I'm assuming it takes the regolith and like reprocesses, does the complex reprocessing thing to it, and then yeah, turns it into dirt somehow. I'm not sure how that works because dirt without like the nutrients in it is kind of useless for growing plants because the whole purpose of dirt is to have nutrients. Not sure how that works. I'm not sure why we can't just use like aquaponics or something, or it's not how you pronounce. I might be thinking of the. I don't know. Anyways, we are now launching a. What is this? Colossus. We haven't launched one of these in a while, so I kind of forgot the name of it. I'm not sure which was the last time we launched one of these. It has been slightly upgraded. I changed the plume from the Hydrolox plume to the Methalox plume because kind of just looks a bit better. Also, the landing legs are replaced with the landing legs that were on the second stage because for some reason, if I'm recovering things using Kerbal construction time, the Falcon landing legs sometimes... Yeah, they sometimes retract too much or too little, and they don't really work that well with recovery. You have to replace them every time, and that's not a very good thing to do if you want a rapidly reusable launch vehicle. Another new addition is the addition of this little new engine. Instead of having the original 4 combustion chamber RL10 thingamajig, we're now using 2 of these whatchamacallits. I'm not sure what engine they're based off of. Maybe it's the RL10 again. I'm not entirely sure. But we are once again trying to land the booster because, you know, we don't want to be expending any of the expensive engines. Recovery is very good for career mode playthroughs. But we have landed. The second stage is recoverable too. The third stage, unfortunately, is still not recoverable because we have to get it out to Minmus, and then recovering it from Minmus would be not worth the cost. After all, the third stage is it's just like 4 parts. It has it has more than 4 parts, but it has fuel tanks, probe core, engine, and some RCS and ullage thrusters. That's about all it has. So it is designed to be cheap, not complex, which is why we are recovering it. You can also see there one of the engines on the second stage did be blown up by the shock heating. However, 5 of the... Wait, I'm bad at mental math. 4 of the 5 engines survived. I had a bit of a no think moment there. Anyways, oh wait, no, this is the RL10 because it has that extending nozzle. Is that an extending nozzle? I didn't pay attention to stage step. So what so I'm pretty sure that's the RL10 unless there's another engine with an extendable nozzle that I don't know about. It could very well be because I am not the best with rocket engines. Don't know very many of them. But I talk about it anyways because why not? I mean, what else? Am I going to talk about the video? No, I'm not going to talk about the video. That's boring. Anyways, we have now arrived at Tylo with the Jewel Orbiter. It has a pretty lengthy correction burn to do, and combined with the fact that candle engine is rather low thrust, we actually have to start to burn a bit early. Not the best. It could technically perform at a higher thrust to weight ratio. However, the radiators that we have on the side, they can't provide the necessary heat output in order to keep the engine up and running at full power, because that engine is also a reactor, and it can actually supply power to the vessel, which I think is a really cool feature. Because you have a nuclear reactor in there, so why not take advantage of it and have it supply power while it's not supplying thrust? So we're capturing at Tylo. We have to do 2 passes because I overshot the first one, and we have to go into a 500 kilometer by 500 kilometer orbit in order to get the resource scans up and running. And then we're going to have to go into like a 70 kilometer orbit in order to get the visual scans running. Because both scans have different altitude needs. And yeah, once again, it probably wasn't the best idea to do lots of orbital maneuvers around Tylo, because Tylo is basically Kerbin, but without an atmosphere. We're not landing anything on Tylo. This thing definitely doesn't have enough thrust to land, and I'm not sure when we will land a thing on Tylo because it's rather hard to do so. Anyways, once that's done, we can return back to the mission that we were having before. I didn't actually explain this mission, but this is an agriculture support module thingamajig. And this thing is going to be converting the dirt and I think gypsum. We might have a miner that already mines that. I'm not sure, but I think that's going to convert dirt and gypsum into fertilizer. And then we can convert the then we can basically just have the Kerbal stand there for extreme periods of time, because if you have enough fertilizer, you have enough supplies. You don't really need to produce supplies, because if you just have fertilizer and greenhouse modules, then you're pretty good. I mean, wait. I could be wrong, because you do need mulch in order to... Mulch is produced by Kerbals consuming supplies. So if you don't have enough mulch, you can't produce enough supplies. Okay, I think we do actually need to have a supply chain. Also, I could be very wrong about the whole converting the whole dirt and gypsum thing into fertilizer thing. I could be very wrong about that, because I don't have the entirety of the USI logistics chain engraved in my... I don't have that. I basically, all I know how to do is that we have to mine stuff, we have to produce the stuff into useful materials, and then we can use those useful materials. That's all I know about USI. Pretty much, I mean, I do know a bit more, but yeah, USI is very complicated, and it's rather hard to memorize all the different resource chains and stuff. And especially with the latest update of USI, I'm not even sure how long ago that was, but it has the new wolf feature, which I do not know how to use at all. However, I probably will find it out sooner or later, because I might want to use that to reduce the part count and craft count in the save file, because if we're colonizing all the planets, then it's going to be quite painful to have like a million different crafts running at the same time, especially with USI, like calculating all the logistics and stuff. It's going to be quite painful. You can also see the Luna crew transfer vehicle is it's doing a bit of a dance. Spacecraft should not do dances. In fact, they should be perfectly still unless otherwise specified by engines or reaction wheels or any other thing. I do actually have a new planned variant of the Luna transfer vehicle. It's going to be vastly improved, like with nuclear engines and actual good connection ports, so we don't have that problem ever again. Eventually we do just end up disconnecting it and just having it freestanding. Does increase the likelihood of Kraken attacks, but hopefully that won't happen. Because the whole reason why Apollo base is probably a thing is because the USI thing has the ground tether, which actually anchors the base to the ground, which is very helpful in reducing Kraken attacks. However, that will actually be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.